Hey there, happy Thursday, April 23rd to you. So I'm not sure if this is a good idea. I wanted a change of scenery and it's beautiful out here because it's Wednesday. But I live on a highway and I think we're going to have a lot of loud noises. But that's okay. So today, I will assign you a couple of optional videos for you to watch. These 4 questions are going to take you a little bit longer. It's okay, guys. It's still not the 55-minute class that we would normally have been having. I want you to take your time and show me that you remember how to compare linear equations. And I'm going to work 3 examples for you. And then on Khan Academy, I think he has like 3 more short examples, like 2-minute, 3-minute videos that if you want to watch more, you're more than welcome to. But we're going to be given different forms of an equation, and we're going to have to compare them. So this first example, I want you to notice, I've given you an equation, and I've given you a graph. Now, you're only going to be asked one of these 2 questions, but I want to go over both of them to show you that either way, you can answer these. First of all, in an equation, you know that this number that's right in front of your variable is your slope. You also know that the constant is your y-intercept. So right away, they've already given you your slope and your y-intercept on the equation. Make sure you're careful in looking that if they flip it around, the constant is your y-intercept, the number in front of your variable is your slope. When you look at this graph right here, you know that your y-intercept is right there, which happens to be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 0, -7 is your y-intercept, and you know that you can count your slope by doing rise over run. In this case, my rise is actually down 1, so -1, and my run is 1, 2, 3 to the right. So my slope would be -1 over 3. It's written as a fraction. And since I had to go down and then to the right, my slope is negative. So when you are asked, possibly, which one has the greater y-intercept, all you gotta do is look, okay? -5 is my y-intercept here, -7 is my y-intercept here. Oh, look, -5 is the greater of the 2 y-intercepts. And I don't know, I think it's a multiple choice, so I think you would click the equation for that answer. Second option, as far as asking the question, which one has a more negative slope? Well, you have to recognize that -1/4 is -0.25, -1/3 is -0.3 repeating, and well, which one is more? Well, the -1/3 is more. So you would either put graph or you would put the -1/3, depending on the way the question is asked. So either one, whichever one they ask, you're simply looking at either the y-intercept or the slope. Let me do a second one, and it is asking you to compare between a table and a graph. So as you look at the table, hey, look, here's my x equals 0. This right here has to be my y-intercept. And that's pretty great that they just give that to you. I checked on Khan Academy. They give it to you every time. So when x is 0, there is your y-intercept right there. You do have to do a little bit of work to find your slope. You've got to use that formula that we just reviewed last week or maybe the week before. And the slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You got options here that you can pick from. I usually make this be my x1, this be my x2, this is my y1, and my y2. Because look, you got a 0 and a 1 to work with, makes it nice and convenient. So when you go to use your formula, you're going to say negative 5.75 minus a negative 6.5. Well, subtracting a negative, boom, boom, we get to add the opposite and make that a plus, over x2 minus x1, 1 minus 0. A negative 5.75 and a positive 6.5. I believe that gives you a 0.75 over 1, which is 0.75. So I now have my slope, and I now have my y-intercept. If we look at the graph, all we need to do is count down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is my y-intercept. 0, negative 6. And you can sit that right there. Riley just made me my third example. Thank you. And again, slope on a graph is just rise over run. So I'm going to count up 1, 2. It looks like I need to count up 3 and over 4 to get to this next corner point. So my slope is going to be 3 over 4. Now, depending on what question you happen to get, may ask, well, which one has the greater y-intercept? I look here, this y-intercept is at negative 6.5. This one is at negative 6. Well, the one that is greater is going to be the negative 6, because negative 6.5 would be down here, so it would be even less. And which one has the greater slope? Again, I don't know if you have to pick whether it's the graph or the table. So if it was, you pick the graph. Otherwise, you have to put in the answer. Which one has the greater slope? Notice this slope is 0.75. This slope is 3/4. There is an option that says they are equal. So you would simply mark that as your option, that they are equal. Last example for you, this is the third type. You will only have these 3 types when you go to do these 4 questions. So let me now compare for you an equation and a table. Okay, love the equation ones because right away we can see this is going to be our slope. It is the number that is in front of our variable, called the coefficient, and the constant, a positive 10, is our y-intercept. For the table, a little bit more work, not a lot, because again, they give you when x is 0, y is 10, right there is your y-intercept. To get the slope, we use the same formula we just did, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I'm going to label this my first x, my second x. I'm going to label this my first y and my second y. Remember, those ones need to match, the twos need to match. I'm going to take 5 minus 10 for my y2 minus y1 over 2 minus 0 for my x2 minus x1. Oh, that where you can see that. 5 minus 10 is a negative 5, and 2 minus 0 is 2. Hopefully you recognize that 2 will go into 5 twice, and you will have a half left. So this is your slope. When you are asked one of these 2 questions, you should be able to answer. Which one has the greater y-intercept? Well, this y-intercept is at 10, this y-intercept is at 10. So the y-intercepts are equal. Which one has a more negative slope? Now, I chose this phrasing because this is one of the questions, or the way it's worded. Which one is more negative? is the -2 more negative or the -2.5 more negative? Well, the -2.5 is more negative. So you would either mark table or you would mark the -2.5. And I'm pretty sure it's the description, so I think you would put that as the table. So you've only got 4 questions. You are comparing your y-intercept and your slope on each of these 4 questions. If you want a few more practice, 2-minute video, 3-minute video, they don't take a lot of time. You can rewatch those and see he may use a different phrase than what I did. But please keep working on that e-learning. We're getting close, guys, getting close. I have a Zoom meeting Thursday at 2. If you would like to join in or if you've got any questions, just want to visit, you're more than welcome. Have a good day.